Hi everyone, Jesse here with eTrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at and I'll show you how to install the TowSmart custom fit trailer hitch receiver on our 2022 Toyota Highlander. The Highlander is a super practical car, but sometimes you just need a little bit of extra storage, and a hitch allows you to add that storage onto the rear of the vehicle, whether it be something like a cargo carrier or a bike rack, and you can even do some light duty towing with it. Here's a closer look at our hitch installed on our Highlander. As you can see, the cross tubes are completely hidden behind the fascia, so all you can really see is the receiver opening and your safety cable loops, so we'll talk about those. Our receiver opening is 2 inches by 2 inch. That's going to be standard for most accessories that you're going to want to add on here. And we also have a standard 5/8 inch pinhole. The pin and clip are not included with the hitch, however, we have many options available here at eTrailer. Also, any accessory that you add on will most likely come with one included. And then our safety cable loops, they're a nice sturdy design here. You can see they're super easy to get whatever safety cable you have, for example this large clevis or an S style like that. Now for some measurements for our ground clearance. From the ground to the top of the inside of the collar is about 16 1/4 inches. And then from the center of the pinhole to the edge of the bumper is only about 2 inches at the most. So just keep that in mind for any folding accessories that you might add on to ensure they don't make contact with the vehicle. Now for the weight capacities of this hitch, we have a gross trailer weight of 5,000 pounds. That's the amount of weight that you can pull behind the vehicle. Then a maximum tongue weight of 500 pounds. That's the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. Just be sure to double check your Toyota's owner's manual to ensure that your Highlander can handle that weight safely. A question we get asked a lot is, once the hitch is installed, will my hands-free liftgate assist still function properly? And once we installed this hitch, we found out that it does. You just have to make sure you kick to one side of the receiver or the other, but it does work as it should. All in all, I think a hitch is a great addition to a Highlander, and you really can't go wrong with the TowSmart option. As for the installation, it's a pretty simple process. However, you do have to remove a panel from under here and cut it. So maybe that's not something you're looking to do yourself. Maybe you don't have the time, the space, or the tools to do so. And just feel free to check out our dealer locator. If you are looking to get this installed yourself, then just follow along and I'll show you how we set up ours. Also, if you've installed this hitch before and you just want to share some tips or tricks, or maybe you just want to share some photos of what you're using your hitch for, then please feel free to share that with us by leaving a comment or a review. The first step of our installation will be to lower our spare down and get that out of the way. I've already done that. So we'll move on to the next step, which is to take this plastic box down. We have a few 10mm screws to pop out. Then we have some of these push pin fasteners. Helps to have a push pin tool. I have this one here, or you can use a flathead screwdriver, but all we need to do is pop the middle piece out, and then the entire thing should come out with it. So let's go through and get all these removed. Now we have a couple different fasteners. These are just plastic nuts here. I'll use a 12mm socket to get those backed off. It might help to pull down on the panel to get it fully removed. Get those popped out and we should be able to work this panel out of place. Now on the passenger side here, we have this metal bracket that we're going to take down. It's got 2 bolts. This one's a 17mm and this one's a 10mm. Get those removed. You should be able to slide this bracket out of place. Next we have 2 more push pin fasteners. They're kind of holding these tabs on the fascia. So we'll pop those out same way as the others. One on this side and one over here. Pop those out and then we'll bend these tabs out of our way just until we get our hitch lifted up into place. Now for our mounting holes. They are covered up with these little plastic circles here. So I think you can just get under it with a flathead screwdriver and pop it out. There'll be 3 of them. Now also remove these rubber pieces just so our hitch sits flush with the frame of the car. Once we have all of our weld nuts exposed on both sides, I'll come in with a wire brush, just clean out any dirt or corrosion that got up in there. And then I like to run the hardware in and out a few times just until it's nice and smooth to thread in. Ours are pretty smooth already, but if your car's a little older, there might be some buildup in there. But while I have the hardware here, I'll just explain how it's going to be installed. We'll lift our hitch into place, and then we'll have a conical tooth washer with the teeth facing towards the hitch, and then top that off with a bolt. That's a good idea to have an extra set of hands. I have my friend Joe here to help me lift our hitch into place. We'll have to get it up around the exhaust side first. Make things easier, make sure you're around those flaps. Then once we get it lifted up, we should be able to line our holes up, and we'll get one bolt started on both sides. Now that we have all of our hardware hand tightened, we can take a 19mm socket and tighten them down. We'll torque our hardware down. If you don't have your own torque wrench, we do have some available here at eTrailer, or you could always rent one from your local auto parts store. Now we'll take our panel. Before we can install it, we'll have to cut a bit of it out. So I'd recommend just kind of mocking it up and seeing where it will interfere with the hitch. And then we can just take some tin snips and cut a section out. I'm just going to work one section at a time to try to get the cleanest cut that I can. And once you have that panel cut out, you can just reinstall it with the fasteners and then throw your spare back up. Otherwise, that's going to do it for our look at and installation of the TowSmart Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2022 Toyota Highlander.